Okay, for our ticket to test, what you're seeing is exactly what's going to be on our test coming up this Friday. This test focuses on expressions and equations. And it's really important that you remember what's the difference between an expression and an equation. And it's an equation has an equal sign. Okay? Now, as we go over this, I didn't allow skipping. Oh, maybe I will. I haven't decided if I'm going to allow skipping or not. I guess by the time you watch this, you'll know. But for now, this is what I'm doing. Okay, so first of all, with distribute, if you notice, there are a few different sections on how this is broken up. Your test will be like that too. So your test will have a distribute section. It'll have a factor section. It'll have a simplify. And then on the back, it'll have equations. So when you are distributing, okay, distributing is your Santa hat. So you always do 2. 4 times x is 4x. And then you have 4 times a positive 6. 4 times a positive 6 is a positive 24. And that's your answer. And if you notice, remember your distributing answer looks just like your factor, because when you factor, it's just the opposite. Now we have a -3 times 2, which is a -6, and then add your variable. You add your variable after. -3 times a positive 5 gives you a -15. -8 times a -3 gives you a positive 24. Add your variable. -8 times -1 gives you a positive 8. Okay, when you factor, it's just the opposite. So when we distribute, remember, look at this, and we have the 4 pulled out up here. When we factor, we want to make this look like that, with a number on the outside. So what does -5e and 35 have in common? And it has a 5 in common. If you notice, I didn't take out the -5 because this isn't a negative number. So it doesn't have the negative in common. It just has the 5. Once you take out a 5, this leaves you with the -e, plus 35 divided by 5 is 7. Okay, 12x plus 20, -12x plus 20. Same thing, it doesn't have the negative in common, but it doesn't have a 12 in common either. So let's think of the biggest numbers that go into 12. I can tell you right now 6 goes into 12, but 6 does not go into 20. Okay, 6 times 2. So 2 goes into both of these, so let's try 2. 12 divided by 2 is -6x, plus 20 divided by 2 is 10. So if you notice, this doesn't work because neither of these two numbers are prime. So I'm going to take out an even bigger number. So what else goes into 6? That was 2 times 6. I know 3 times 4 does. Okay, does 3 go into 20? No, but 4 does. So let's try a 4. 4 goes into 12. -3 times. 4 goes into 20 5 times. And both those numbers are prime. So that works. Do you see how I tried it one way and I realized, hey, that doesn't work? Because 6 and 10, you can take another 2 out. So you got 4. Now number 6 is the easiest. What do these two have in common? And it's an x. So what's left is y plus 4. Those are my favorite. Okay, next we are doing simplifying the algebraic expressions. Okay, simplifying means that you can include distributing and your t-chart. So first of all, you see if there's anything to distribute. And here, nothing to distribute. So we're just going to do our t-chart. We have 25. We have negative 6x. We have negative 12. And we have negative 2x. Okay, and then what you do is you just add those up. Negative 6 plus negative 2 is going to be a negative 8x. Then 25 plus a negative 12 is going to be positive 13. Number 8. Same thing. Is there anything to distribute here? Nope. So you have your t-chart and you have your m's and your whole numbers. You have negative 15, positive 8, and negative 10m. So then let's add these up. Negative 15 plus 8, negative 7. Your negative 10m comes straight down, and then you have your negative 7. Easy enough. Now number 9. On this one it can get a little tricky because you see 2 parentheses. But if you notice, there really isn't anything to distribute. You have a double negative here. So that's going to turn into a positive. But if you notice right here, all these parentheses are telling you is, hey, that's a negative 3. That's all. There's nothing to distribute. So now we have our x's and whole numbers. We have 3. This is now a positive 9x. We have positive 7, and then we have a negative 3x. 9 plus a negative 3 is a 6x, and 7 plus 3 is 10. Okay, number 10. On number 10, we do have something to distribute. This 4 gets distributed. So the first thing you do is distribute 4x, and then 4 times a negative 6 is going to be negative 24. And then add that 19 on the end. After you have rewritten it, it's funny because I see a lot of people get to this step and then they stop and move on. Okay, this isn't the answer. You've distributed, and you distributed very well. But this isn't the answer. Now you have to combine like terms. 4x, negative 24, positive 19. So we know we're going to have 4x, and then you have negative 24 plus 19, which is going to give you negative 5. Crazy how to think you see this long problem and your answer is so simple. Now if you look here, this is a trick one too, because is there anything to distribute out front? Oh, sorry, it's too early. There's nothing to distribute out front. If anything, it's an imaginary 1. So it would really just be negative 4y plus 3. It stays the same. Plus, now here's something to distribute. The 2. 2 times 4 is 8y. 2 times a negative 5 is a negative 10. So then you have your y's and your whole numbers. Negative 4y, positive 3, 8y, negative 10. Okay, so you're going to have negative 4 plus 8 is going to give you 4y. 3 plus a negative 10 is going to give you a negative 7. See how simple your answer ends up being? So simple. Okay, number 12. You do have something to distribute here, and this one's tricky because you're distributing that negative 4. So you have 2x minus 6, and then you have negative 4 times x is negative 4x. And negative 4 times negative 3 is a positive 12. So right now, odds are most of you missed this one. I'll be very impressed if you got it. So if you look at this, make sure that your answer matches mine. Make sure it's a negative 4x and it's a positive 12. Most of you probably got the negative 4x, but a lot of you probably missed that positive 12. X, whole numbers, you have 2x, you have negative 6, you have negative 4x, and a positive 12. Negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2x. 12 plus negative 6 is going to be a positive 6. Now, number 13. You saw one of these on one of your assignments. I love these problems. I think it's such a great picture. Okay, you are finding the perimeter. You find the perimeter by adding up all the sides. So you have 3x plus 2x plus 2 plus 5x plus x plus 10. And now you put all your x's together. You have 3x, 2x, solid 2, 5x, 1x, and a solid 10. The number one thing I see people miss here is that this is at 1x. So now I have 3, 4, 5, 10, 11 x's plus 12. And that is it in simplest form. See? Super easy, lovely picture. Okay. Part 2.